Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about how the Wilds gave the girls little screen time in season 2. Now, it's something we all feared, that the girls would get very little screen time, and unfortunately it happens. Now, one reason why it happened, because yes, they did introduce the boys. And so, but they had to give the guys ample screen time and reasons for us to like them. Only problem is, I still don't feel the boys were written very well. It felt very lazy, very rushed, and very one-sided, and just wanted to pit all guys as like idiots and like monsters. At some point in time, there are things that the guys did that that they should have done that the girls did, and what made the girls look superior in season 1. Now, with all that aside, I've already made plenty of videos about the guys and everything. I'll watch those because I feel the guys were mishandled on purpose. However, it's odd that the girls got so little screen time. Some girls barely showed up in the show. And it's weird. Now, there's one Twitter user who calculated all the time that the guys had versus that the girls. The girls had, and I don't have time to go through every episode and do what this person did, so I'm just going to take their word for it. And after watching it, it seems about right. The girls got a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes. And the guys got a total of 3 hours and 51 minutes. That's basically 4 hours in that of an 8-episode arc. And when the girls were on screen, it was good stuff. Even though it was rushed, and you have to know what happened in season 1, but it was good stuff. They write the girls like actual characters and not of stereotypes. However, they still got very little screen time. So let's rerun down what the girls actually did this season, or lack that of, I should say. Let's start with the one who got the least screen time of them all, Nora. We still don't know what the world's going on with Nora. We don't know how exactly Gretchen truly coerced her to join the program and be the mole and betray everybody. We just see her looking at a screen, touching the screen because she misses her sister with a tear coming down her eye. That is it. That is literally it. The shock and the awe of last season of what happened to her just completely rinsed down the drain because they didn't care to better the even explain. Didn't even give her no dialogue. Next is Dot. I am very shocked that Dot got such little screen time. She was barely shown in the entire season. She was the mother hen of the first season. She's great at survival stuff. She knows about medical stuff. She is the ipso facto leader of the group. And she got such little screen time. The only thing that she basically did a purpose this season was she mentioned that her dad, a story about him, it was her birthday. She didn't want to celebrate. It kind of reminded her of her dad. And then she mentioned something that she met Gretchen. Now, this is what's so strange about this. The reaction of the girls were kind of like, wait, what? The villain of the show? You met her? Now, they don't know who Gretchen is. They just know she is the organizer of the Dawn of E project. And their reaction made it look like they were suspicious and worried, but why? They have no reason to be suspicious and worried. We, the audience, is because of course we know what's going on, but they don't know what's going on. So their reaction was very bizarre, let's just say that. And the only other thing Dot did was that she talked about we can't cross this river because we don't know how deep it is, and she cried over her dad, and that's literally it. I'm not even joking. Now, the other girls got a bit more screen time and stuff to do. Let's start with Rachel. She had some pretty good growth and development. Last season, she was very headstrong, very snobbish a little bit, very, very headstrong and determined to get off that island, whatever it takes. She, of course, get her arm bit off and it's amputated. After that, she doesn't think about her arm. The only thing she's thinking about is Nora, because Nora disappeared and they don't know how. So they think she went underwater or something. So the whole season that affects her, and we see it. That's good drama right there. And also, it takes her a good while to get back into the groove of things. And when she does, she's back to having fun with the girls. She starts like a band with, I think, Leah. She's back to swimming in the ocean, finding stuff with one arm, remind you, but they don't show her swimming with one arm for the most part. And so, yeah, but then something interesting happens. She basically have a nervous breakdown where she thinks she can see Nora in the ocean and everything. So out of everybody, she had some really good growth and development, and that was a really good thing. And you really don't really have to know what happened to her in the first season to know what's going on with her in this season. Fatten has become the new mother hen of the group, and she's become the new smart person because Nora's no longer there. She is the one who has Nora's diary and is trying to figure out what is going on when she starts seeing some strange letters and numbers. And then she discovers that everything that Nora has been drawing was actually a map. And she goes looking for all of these objects with Shelby to where she finds the cell phone. And she was able to climb the tree to get the cell phone. Now, one thing that she has to do is she has to take care of Leah, which is really getting on her nerves. She thinks Leah saw, well, was imagining everything that happened in the first season with Nora and the pit, because the pit has now been covered. So when Leah starts to interrogate Rachel about the Nora thing, she puts Leah in her place the way Dot would. And that's because Dot is barely there this season. And so her growth is that she's no longer that snobby, selfish person she was last season. But you'll never know that if you didn't watch the first season. So that's really all she did this this season. Martha was interesting this season. Basically, she's still the nice person that she is, but not as nice as she was last season. She is a little irritated that Tony would not tell her about the whole Shelby thing because, you know, they're best friends and stuff. But for the most part, it doesn't bother her. She's happy that Tony has become a nicer person because of Shelby. But then Martha's starting to go through some stuff. She has a mental breakdown when she sees a dead rabbit that she caught. Now, she's been killing a lot of animals this season and eating them. If you never watched last season, you will never know why. As a result, she has a complete mental breakdown, become catatonic for the rest of the last couple of episodes. Because her storyline was handled so poorly, people wouldn't understand why killing animals and eating them affects her. And it's because of her religion and her beliefs. But you only know that from the first season. So if you came into this season fresh, you would have no idea what's going on. You also have no idea that she was molested as like a little girl, and she hid that and never told nobody that the coach did it and let him get away when the court date came. None of that got brought up this season. So one would think that she's having a mental breakdown because of that, but nobody would know if you never watched the first season. But it mostly has to do with her killing the animals. And then the huge mystery of last season was, where is she in the future? Now we know she's completely 100% fine. That took away from the awe and the shock of first season. Tony is a changed person. She is less mean than she was last season. She was volatile last season, but she never hurt none of the girls on the island. And unlike the whole Seth thing. And so, like, she is now a changed person only because she's in a relationship and she's getting some. And when Martha gets sick and with that nervous breakdown, then she goes back to her mean ways, but she's not like breaking stuff like she was last season. But she blames everybody for what happened to Martha, but she doesn't put none of the blame on herself because she was no longer attending to Martha because she was too busy making out with like Shelby and stuff. And that's basically all Tony does. Even when Shelby breaks up with her, she's just chill about it and not angry like she would have been. Shelby has great development this season. She's finally accepting that she is LGBT, that she is a lesbian. She's bringing up several times that her family will never accept her for who she is now. Her church will never marry her. But she's forgetting she ain't gonna stay a teenager forever. She can just go to another church and move away. But anyways, She was done right this season because if you knew what she went through last season, you'd be like, oh my God. So she had great character development this season. So she has great character development this season. And she even dooms the rest of the girls when she sees a boat. She doesn't want to go home because if she goes home, she's going to be back under strict religious like guidelines of her not being who she wants to be. And so that's really all that happens with her this season. And then she breaks up with Tony because Tony blames her for the whole Martha thing. It's so devastating that we finally get some resolution resolved to her shaving her head and her breaking her leg when she tries to climb the tree. And that's really all she does. Like her whole storyline, her and Tony are just making out, them loving each other, and her accepting who she is and dooming everybody. Mufasa did not die for this. I'm gonna give Leah her own video because I feel she deserves it. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.